Good morning, everyone. In the news now is an article in News 24 about Zweli Mkhize that's decided to get rid of almost all or many of the people in the MAC, the Ministerial Advisory Committee on the Coronavirus Pandemic. And the headline reads, Mkhize disbands Ministerial Advisory Committee on COVID-19 out of the blue. In other words, there was no warning for this. And this is very significant. Without warning on Friday, scientists who were part of the 50-member Ministerial Advisory Committee on COVID-19 received letters thanking them for their service. The letter from Health Minister Zweli Mkhize is one paragraph long and mentions that new members will be appointed soon. So what this is doing is this is a replacement. And if you see what is said that they will be replaced with, we need to be really concerned. Mkhize announced the reconfiguration of MAC on 14th of September in a daily press release, but scientists say they were caught by surprise. Health Minister Zweli Mkhize has effectively disbanded government's Chief Scientific Advisory Committee on COVID-19. News 24 has seen a letter sent to members of the Ministerial Advisory Committee on COVID-19 on Friday, dated 21st of September, in which Mkhize expressed his gratitude and appreciation for the commitment and dedication of the members. And I quote, "Your contribution has led to the containment of COVID-19 pandemic in South Africa and the reduction of mortality of the citizens of South Africa. The new members of the MAC will assume duty soon," the letter reads. So he's saying in the letter that there will be new members. Now it's important to understand the role of these new members, and we'll get to that just now. The committee is chaired by Professor Salim Abdul Karim, and I've done videos on him before, and was established early during the outbreak of COVID-19 in April to advise Mkhize. And we know he hasn't listened to them one bit. Karim's status as chairperson is still unclear. I'll be surprised if he's replaced, because he is part of the team of people around the world that listen to Bill and Belinda Gates. But let's continue. While it appears the entire 50-member MAC has been affected, at the time of writing, News 24 had confirmed that 14 members of the MAC had received letters, including South Africa's COVID-19 vaccine trial leading researcher Professor Shabir Mahdi and CEO of the South African Medical Research Council, Professor Glenda Gray. Remember, I did articles on her speaking out and her being reprimanded for speaking out against the regulations on COVID-19. Others confirmed by News 24 include Professor Francois Venter, who also spoke out. I did an article on him. Head of the Izinsa Health Unit at the University of Witwatersrand, and Dr. Angelique Kutsia, chairperson of the South African Medical Association. The others are not being named, as News 24 was not able to reach them immediately to confirm whether they had received a letter, but they include some of the country's most senior epidemiologists and immunologists. Now, I've done many articles saying that the MAC was just there as a smokescreen, that the members of the MAC felt like they were being ignored, that the recommendations were not implemented by government, that government rather listened to the World Health Organization, which should be extremely worrying to all South African citizens. It proves that we actually don't have a government that governs for the people. Mahdi, Venter and Gray have been leading voices in criticizing some of the regulations promulgated by government in response to COVID-19. Well, they would want to get rid of that, wouldn't they? Reconfiguration. Now, this is the important part. So please listen until we get this done. Mkhize's spokesperson, Ulwazi Manzi, said the minister had announced the reconfiguration of the MAC on 14th of September. We've mentioned this before. As part of the daily press release proving COVID-19 updates. Manzi said a new MAC on behavioral change and the MAC on a COVID-19 vaccine were unaffected. So all they would keep is a MAC on behavioral change and a MAC on COVID-19 vaccine, which means this is becoming a focal point. But now the new appointments are more concerning, and I quote, "With the changing pattern of the pandemic, it has become necessary to reconfigure the Ministerial Advisory Committee on COVID-19. The 14th September release reads, close quote. Open quote again, "The new MAC will take into account the need for the inclusion of social and behavioral scientists among other factors," close quote. They want to control our behavior. They want to control how we do things, see things, think about things, etc. And I speak about this in my meetings at length. And if you don't think that this is coming, just wait and watch the space. You know, history is history. You cannot change what happened in history. You can only change the perspective that people have on history. Let me continue. But Professor Francois Venter said it was done with no warning or explanation. It is not like the epidemic is anywhere over. Government really needs to embrace transparency and explain jetting in a crowd of World Health Organization experts, an inexplicable curfew, orders banning an expert panel that didn't rubber stamp decisions made behind closed doors. That is the reality of the situation. Dr. Angelique Coetzee acknowledged that Mkhize had stated his intention to reconfigure the MAC. But until today, the names were not made known yet, so no one knew, she said. I think they would want to make it the MAC smaller and want maybe more involvement of people on the coalface, nursing groups and others, bringing them on board as well, Coetzee explained. Then they speak about how this was done out of the blue. One of the most important things is if you look at another MAC, that it should be the public sector out there or the private sector advising the ministers. And we should maybe have less people working for the Department of Health advising the ministers, she added. Well, that would make perfect sense. She also said the letter arriving as it did out of the blue was perhaps not the best way to go about the exercise of dissolving the committee. I think everyone got a letter. A better way would be to say, we are thinking that we need to start a new term. Thank you for your work. They could have said, this is the reason. Let's look at how we could get a more practical group together. This is the way forward, she said. Maybe they thought it was a good way, but it's not. So they're not happy with the way. They were just told, thank you, goodbye. Let's hope that when they convene the new group, that it's a practical group with less people working for the department, but people like Francois Venter and Professor Karim, but also a bit more balanced committee. But we need the scientists, but we also need people working at the coalface, Coetzee said. Now that's the end of the article. So the important things to take away from this article is simple. That the Ministerial Advisory Committee was just disbanded with a simple one-paragraph letter to all the members. The next thing that happened is the fact that they are saying that they want to focus on behavioral change. That this is what the new committee will be doing. Well, we'll have to see who is appointed to the committee and what is actually said about that in the media. I'm always very interested in what the media puts out because that's a narrative that they want to drive. So thank you for watching this video with me. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not yet, and please click the bell icon to get notifications for new videos. Thank you very much.